Hi.
Hello and welcome to the Macaw Podcast Universe. Here we go again. This is the end of the Shrekening. And then
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots, and this is a Shrekless film.
Yep.
As we all know.
I thought he might have made some kind of cameo, but it is a prequel, so.
Yeah, it would have kind of sucked if he was in it, but because they meet in two.
They get rid of Shrek and they add Humpty Dumpty.
So, yeah, this has been kind of a wild ride because if you listened along, you knew that going into this, I was expecting to dislike this series a lot.
Me too.
On rewatch.
Me too.
And so far, I only dislike Shrek the Third. The
Me
rest
too.
are all good.
Some of them great.
Some of them great. A few. I mean, some of it, like, it's still not. It's nothing too insane. But as far as like a kids animated fun movie, we'll show our kids Shrek.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the merit it has to pass.
And we'll probably continue to laugh along with it.
Yeah, probably. So this is directed by Chris Miller, who directed the worst one of the series, Shrek the Third, not to be confused with Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the 21 Jump Street, Spider-Verse guys, all that stuff.
And Lego movie.
And Lego. It's produced by Joe M. Aguilar, Latifah Oaou, Ouaou.
No way.
Yeah.
It's a last name consisting of only vowels.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And she produced The Grinch, the 2018 version, and Monsters vs. Aliens.
Okay.
Screenplay, we got Tom Wheeler, who wrote the Lego Ninjago movie. What's funny is going through this, you're just going to see like the heavy hitters of like current animation. Because we already have The Grinch, which was pretty huge. We have a Lego movie person, and then Brian Lynch wrote. So this is the story. So story by Brian Lynch: Secret Life of Pets 1 and 2, and Minions.
Oh wow!
So it's like that's a lot of different pots in the animation
Despicable
pie.
Me is DreamWorks, right?
Yeah, this is DreamWorks. And then we got
Despicable Me. I mean specifically.
Oh, Despicable Me. No, that's
that's
Illumination.
Yeah.
And then we got Will Davies, who wrote Johnny English and Tom Wheeler.
Johnny English?
Yes.
How many are there of those?
I think there's 3.
Okay.
And then we got Tom Wheeler. And then we got music by Henry Jackson, who also did the music for our next episode, which is a completely different franchise.
Whoa, crazy.
He did the music for Captain America Civil War, which is next week, folks. And he also did Winter Soldier and Kingsman.
Okay.
So this is produced by DreamWorks Animation, as all the Shrek movies are. It's distributed by Paramount Pictures. It comes out October 26, 2011. And the budget on this old bad boy, $130 million.
Wow. Domestically,
it makes $149,360,504. Oh. And worldwide, this old cat makes $554,987,477.
It did well.
So this movie has been in development since 2004.
Whoa.
Yeah, because
That took me a while.
Yeah, I know. I know. Because remember, this comes out 2011. So this is in production for like 7 years. So it's
before Puss is a character.
Well, let me look up when Shrek 2 came out, because I think this would have come out. They probably so Shrek 2 comes out in 2004. So they probably were like, man, we're onto something with this Puss guy. And so it's been in production since then. And then they originally wanted to make it a 2008 direct-to-video release.
Oh, okay.
Which actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Not with what they ended at, but with what they probably had.
Yeah.
Like just a fun little adventure movie. And then Guillermo del Toro was consulted on story and design, and they would call him all the time. So there was some quote where, I can't remember if it was the writer or the director, was like, every time we were stuck in a corner, we'd just call Guillermo del Toro, and he would like talk us through how we should fix it and how to make it better and all that stuff.
He is so flipping cool.
He is.
I love Guillermo.
What's kind of funny about Guillermo, though, is I'm not actually like... Well, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. And of the 3 things I think I've seen, only 2 of them I really like. The other one is like kind
What's
of
the other
okay.
one?
Well, because he did Shape of Water, which is great.
Pan's
Labyrinth, which is great. And then I saw Hellboy, which is just kind of whatever to me.
Oh, I haven't really seen that since I was like a kid.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember too much about it.
I think what's...
Other than the cool fish guy.
Yeah. I guess what's maybe just cool about him is like his visual. Just like the monsters and stuff always look very cool.
Yep, his colors are always so vibrant. For me, Pan's Labyrinth is enough to just make him great for me.
That's true.
I love that
That
movie.
is a great movie. That man, what is it, Pan himself? That is like the coolest creature design.
Yeah.
And that toad is so scary.
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth, that's a good one. So then they partially made this movie in India because it was 40% less labor costs. I don't know what to do with that information, but it seems like something might be a little fishy there. I'm not sure. I don't know how that goes. Or maybe it's just great, and maybe it's all kosher. I don't know. It seems a little off. But I really don't know anything about the animation business, so I could be totally off my dang rocker. And that's all I got until we talk about sequel news.
Okay. You have Antonio Banderas, who we have already covered, who plays Puss.
If he was in a band, he should call it the Band Eris.
Oh, I get it. I had to look at his name to understand that. Then you have the Kitty, who was the other cat, and she is great, and she wears a cool Mexican wrestler mask that I love. Is Salma Hayek, who maybe people recognize her name more than I do. I never knew that was her name until I saw this movie. And I was like, oh, that's her name, because I've seen her in a lot of stuff. But she's been in stuff since, the 1989. And some notable things that she's been in are she was in 4 Rooms, I guess.
Oh, that's a bad movie. That's the movie that Quentin Tarantino directed, one of the 4 segments.
Yeah.
Bad movie. Sucks.
Oh, that's how you really feel.
I'll tell you, I think it sucks.
She's in From Dusk Till Dawn, which is flippin' awesome. What a cool movie, people. Go watch it.
The best way to watch From Dusk Till Dawn is to not look up anything about it.
True.
And even on Netflix, it kind of spoils the fun of the movie.
Does it really?
If it's on, if it's on, it kind of tells you what happens.
Oh.
Really, the thing to do is just to click it. Because it's one of those movies where for about a half hour, you think it's a certain type of movie. And then there's this turn on the movie that happens that it becomes
dramatic.
An absolutely different movie.
Yeah. And that I think that gave us ideas to be like, man, it'd be cool to write a movie that was a love story that turned into a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Like at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Why are you spoiling our ideas?
I'm just... What? No one can do that? It's not very specific, Micah.
Okay, phew.
Oh, interesting. She is also in just a lot. She's in so much. She's in Traffic. Mm-hmm. She plays Frida. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
And guess who else is a Spy Kids veteran? Antonio Banderas.
True. She also is in Across the Universe, which apparently is one of the biggest cult classics of all time that I still have never seen.
I just see that cover and I just can't get past it.
But you talk to anyone who's seen it, and they foam at the mouth with anger that you haven't seen it. That's how it feels.
That's one of those where even today you still get the you haven't seen Across the Universe. Have you noticed that mentality is not as prevalent anymore?
Yeah, because there's so much content.
There's just too much stuff, so people are kind of like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
You missed it. That's fine.
There are even times when people are like, well, I guess you really don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
I've gotten that before, and it's like, really not doing a good job selling this TV show.
Yeah.
She's also in Grown Ups.
Before Puss. Yeah. She's I think she's married to Adam Sandler in those movies.
So weird. Okay. And then Zach Galifianakis, who plays Humpty Dumpty.
Plays the dump man.
He plays Hump Man. Oh man, he's in Bubble Boy. Yeah. I actually have never seen Bubble. I've seen parts of Bubble Boy.
The Jake Gyllenhaal movie?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Man, people should just look up this movie's poster every once in a while because it's one of those posters where it's like, how did this become a movie?
I think it probably became a movie just by the poster, right?
That would make sense. So Zach Galifianakis has been in a ton of TV shows before.
Oh, Bubble or Water?
Bubble Boy?
Bubble Boy. Okay, I looked up Water Boy.
He's in What Happens in Vegas. What? That's so weird. He's in Gigantic, a Paul Dano movie I've been wanting to watch for years and can't find anywhere. And then in 2009, he's in The Hangover. That's right, guys. He's the one with the baby strapped to him. I don't remember what his name is. Oh, wait. Alan. I have it right here.
That's what like explodes Zach Galifianakis.
Yes. And then he's in things like Youth in Revolt, Little Fish, Strange Pond, Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, Dinner for Schmucks, Due Date.
He's got a really odd career to me because it does seem like he got very big for those 3 or 4 years, and now he's not really that big anymore, except among people who like Zach Galifianakis.
I wonder what that's
show.
I wonder if it has anything to do with also Hangover 2 is the same year as Puss in Boots.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I learned through comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
I watched his episode, and I learned that he is extremely scared of basically being famous.
Yeah.
Like it gives him a lot of anxiety. He doesn't want people recognize it or coming up to him.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be treated like a normal person, but he can't now because he's Zach Galifianakis. He's the guy from The Hangover.
Yeah.
And I think remember that he has that story where he was like on a cruise and someone kids took a picture of him and he like followed them into the bathroom for them to delete it.
No, that's not what happened.
Isn't that what happened?
He was in the bathroom and kids
in the
took
bathroom.
a picture of him, and he was like,
right.
you can't. He took their phone from them and deleted it. He's like, I'm in the bathroom. You can't take a picture of me in here.
That's right.
No matter like who I am, that's not okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, which he's in the right. He's totally in the right for that.
But he didn't follow them into the bathroom.
Yeah, sorry. But I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Also, I feel like he's so famous, he has more creative control over what he can do now. Hence, Baskets. He couldn't do Baskets 10 years ago, like at all.
I kind of almost would prefer him to be like a TV show kind of guy, just because then you can see more of him.
If no one's seen Baskets, I'm foaming at the mouth right now and telling you got to go see Baskets. Okay, we'll get off the Zach Galifianakis train. One of Jordan's favorite people.
But we are going to jump back on periodically throughout.
And then you have Billy Bob Thornton, who plays Jack, and we'll get into that whole confusing thing in the movie.
Yes.
But Billy Bob Thornton's been around since the 80s. He's, got a filmography list as long as any other. Sling Blade happens in 1996. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
It's a good movie. It's pretty sad. He's in Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Oh, thought that was going to be shocking.
He's the dude that
he's also
helps
in
her
Armageddon. The Man Who Wasn't There. Bad Santa. Let's not forget Bad Santa.
What did he do like right before this movie?
Yeah, let me find it. Nothing I've ever heard of besides Eagle Eye in 2008.
Just can you say
Faster.
Faster.
A Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie.
Oh wow!
And he just plays cop.
He plays cop. He doesn't even have a name in it.
No.
Wow. Probably too busy with his bluegrass band.
Yeah, probably. Which just sounds so right?
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton doing a bluegrass band. Yeah.
And then Amy Sedaris plays Jill.
She's a bojacker.
She's a bojacker. She plays Princess Carolyn. She's in a ton of TV shows. She usually is, I guess you would say, character actress in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She's always just the highlight of anything you're watching. Like
rules.
We were just talking and she's an elf. She's the receptionist.
Yeah.
In Buddy's dad's office, and she's just so funny. And she's not even in it that much.
Every time she's in it, she kind of steals the scene a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, she's in School of Rock?
Really? Is she a parent? I think she's probably a parent, right?
No, she's Mrs. Hainish.
Is it the School of Rock TV show?
No.
Or it's okay.
I feel like I see her face now in my mind, but I can't imagine what she does. I'm not going to find it that way. Okay, let's look up right before, though. 2011. Well, she's in Bob's Burgers, SpongeBob SquarePants.
She does a lot of voice acting. That's interesting.
She's got a great voice.
She does have a great voice.
She's in the middle. Not a lot of like thing. Oh, she's in Jennifer's Body.
Oh wow. Remember that movie coming out? Boy, neither do I. That is a movie that truly does not exist, as they would say on Blank Check.
It was a little bit of a phenomenon for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then people stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about it for me. Oh, besides like Guillermo's in it, but we just talked about him.
Yeah, and it makes sense that Guillermo del Toro's in it because he was story consulting.
Well, that's how he got paid.
Yeah, so then
they gave him a little role. Just
they gave him a role, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so the movie hits up. You have the DreamWorks logo, the little kid fishing on the moon, but what does he do this time? He lassos. He whoosh. So you're like, oh, baby.
I think people would call that fly fishing. I'm just kidding.
That's pretty funny. And then we see, then we go to this room where Puss in Boots is escaping from this cage that was attached to a guy's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a wanted outlaw.
Yeah. And already you're like, this is pretty cool. The animation is really nice. A lot of shadows, a lot of strong color palettes.
The hair looks really good on everyone.
Oh, the
even
fur
when some
is
people's
crazy.
faces are kind of falling under that weird face thing.
I didn't catch that on this one.
I felt that way about some of them, but everyone's hair looked great.
Yeah, it's looking good. Puss escapes and he goes to this bar, and the whole thing, you're like, this is just a Western movie, and it just feels so good. Because for me, there is something, it's part of the reason why I love Rango so much. There's something so funny about Westerns being played for goofs and animated. I don't know why.
I want to watch Rango again.
Rango rules.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite Johnny Depp. Well, or no, Edward Scissorhands is the best.
Captain Jack.
And this movie, it just has like this cool Western feel. And so then Puss goes to this this bar, this like Mexican bar. And
he orders leche.
And he's in Mexico. And as he's walking around, all these people are making fun of him. They're like, it's a cat, this, that, and the other thing. And he gets this little glass of milk and he laps it up like a cat.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they try to attack him, and he like jumps around really quick and like slashes everybody's beard off. And they're like, "Oh, whoa, you're the real deal. We shouldn't be making fun of you." And then he asks about like some beans or something like that.
He just needs a big score.
Oh yeah.
He just wants a job, or not necessarily a job. He just wants to score big.
Yeah.
He just wants some money, and they're like, "Well, if you really are serious about making a lot of money, you can get those magic beans." And I think initially he was like, that doesn't exist. That's just a legend.
Yeah, which when you have seen the whole movie, seeing that scene again through that lens of like he grew up with Humpty Dumpty and they thought there were magic beans. Now he's like, no way, there's no such thing as magic beans. It kind of makes that intro even better.
Yeah.
But as we're going, as the guys are explaining it, this guy like shows this tattoo of like Jack and Jill, or of these magic beans.
Yeah.
And he's like, see, these magic beans are here.
Okay.
And then he's like, okay. And then he like takes off more of his shirt and he's like, Jack and Jill have the magic beans. And it goes up to this castle and he like pulls off his shirt and he's like, it shows this whole castle. And then he flips his shirt or like he shows him his back and it shows something else about
a giant goose.
So it's just this hilarious bit. Yeah, a giant goose. And he's saying there's golden eggs up there. And then he's like, I can show you the tattoo of the golden eggs. And he's like reaching for his pants. And then Buzz is like, no. Don't worry. I get the picture here. And unfortunately for the movie, this to me is the highlight of the whole movie. That scene is like, it never gets as good as that scene to me.
Okay, I disagree.
What do you think is better?
When the cat dance fight was so funny.
Oh yeah, the cat dance fight is. You're right.
We'll get to that, but he leaves and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go find Jack and Jill because they're the ones who have the magic beans.
Yeah.
And so he tracks them down. Jack and Jill are checking into a hotel, and there are these two giant big oafs of people.
And they're real scary looking.
I would also say ugly. And you see that Jack has a box.
I would also say ugly.
Has a box clamped to his hand, and his hand is holding the magic beans.
And his hand's kind of glowing.
Yeah, because the beans are glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Puss is gonna break into their room.
Puss.
He's gonna break into their room, quiet like, and then he sees another cat also breaking into their room.
Yeah, and it's this black cat.
And this cat's wearing it like I said, like this Mexican wrestler mask, and it looks so cool. And the cat has a cape.
Yeah,
and it looks super, super cool, and it's all black too.
So they're trying to break into the hotel, steal the magic beans, and while they're doing that,
they're fighting because it's like
I'm gonna go get the beans, and they're in the same room as Jack and Jill, and then the other cat's like, no, I'm gonna get the beans, and they're going back and forth, and then finally Jack and Jill look, and they're like, what are these cats doing here?
That's when I feel like that's when I saw that. I think that the mannerisms in this movie are much better than all the other ones. Mm-hmm. Like facial expressions and mannerisms are much more
on the humans or everybody.
Everybody.
Okay.
But it's like also like in this scene with the cats, like their reactions and I don't know, expressions are just much more human, which makes it funnier.
Yeah.
I thought it was much funnier. So
that makes me think I can't wait until Disney inevitably buys DreamWorks and they decide to make like a live CGI action Puss in Boots where they rob all those fun mannerisms that cats have so that it'll look more like a real cat, because everybody wants to see animation turned into something that's non-expressive and not fun to watch. Anyway,
do you have something to say?
Good call on that, Disney. That's so much fun to watch.
We're not talking about Disney, Mike. We're talking about DreamWorks. So Jack and Jill catch the cats. They are thrown out of the room, and then Puss is starting to chase after this cat because he's like, who is this? I need to find this cat.
Yeah, and the shots in this are really cool. It's like set up like an action movie.
Yep, they're running across roofs.
And we're doing zooms and stuff like that, which I can't quite understand how zooms work in animation.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the basic understanding when we think about it when we went to that Pixar thing at OMSI is and tell me if you think this is right. People go into animation, they will design like a room or a landscape, and then within that room or landscape, they can set up cameras as they would in a real setting, and then they can change the lighting and stuff as if it were a real set. So I would imagine with zooming...
That's just math, right?
Yeah, but it is... I think it's kind of like in a video game...
That's how they're thinking. Yeah.
Right. I think it's kind of like in a video game... Like a Minecraft, for an example, where you could like build a house and you can walk all the way around it, and you can like set up stuff. And of course, they don't animate everything, but I would imagine that's how the zooms work, because it's like they've built that engine and then they're able to zoom in and out wherever they like. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's just fascinating.
Animation
is just so freaking fascinating.
It is.
And this movie showcases it so well. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this action sequence of things blowing up because Jack and Jill are shooting them and all of that crazy stuff. Cool. And the cats are flipping and Puss is doing his cartwheel in the sky.
Oh yeah, so funny.
His signature cartwheel in the sky where he straightens out, which it kills me every time.
Me too. And so then he ends up in this like following her into this like, I don't know, like tunnel building thing, and he goes in and it's just filled with cats, and the lighting's very like purples and pinks, and it's like almost it's like a club.
It's Milk Bar, right?
Maybe.
Or no, I'm getting that confused with the Cats trailer.
Oh, I also thought of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
So he falls into there. It's a little bit like a lounge club, like low key thing, and then he's like challenges this cat to a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And this cat starts dancing, and he's like, "What?" And then he sees a sign that says,
"Dance night this Tuesday.
Dance fight this Tuesday."
Yeah.
So they'd have this dance off, and it's so funny. And all these cats start playing music, just like hitting things, or one of them is even just playing a bass.
Yeah.
Just straight up playing a bass, and it's so funny.
And did you notice that besides the main character cats, the other cats have like a domesticated look?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. It doesn't make sense. If you think about it too hard, it doesn't make sense at all. But also it's like, they're like, what are we going to get voices for all of these cats?
Right. But there's something about, because they all have less expression than our main characters. It probably helps us distinguish who we need to pay attention to.
And just the time it would take.
Yeah. But there's that great bit. I don't remember what they're saying, but where they keep on saying different things throughout this scene, and then this cat pops out of nowhere, and it's like, oh.
So they're not saying anything because he doesn't know that this cat's a girl yet, right?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, in the scene that happens.
Okay.
That,
yeah, no,
that
you're
cat
right.
pops up and does the oh, and then they say something else, and that's controversial, and he does it again, and then at the very end of the movie, he does it one more time for like, I don't remember why. That kills me. That kind of stuff is funny.
So the dance off is great, and then he follows her into yet another room, like it looks like a meat locker room because she's gone again, because he hits her with a guitar.
Yes, because she spills milk on his boots.
Right, and then he's like what? Where are you going? Like, what's going on? I think that's when he realizes it's a woman, a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you should know I'm a lover, not a fighter."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a really good Antonio Banderas.
And who is to come out of the shadows but an egg-shaped body? Oh wait, no, it's an actual egg.
It's Humpty. It's dumped.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you do it this time.
I was gonna say it's Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Let's talk about his appearance.
Okay. Egg shape, very egg-like.
Yeah.
Arms and legs, little sticks like that.
Yeah.
Face, a little weird.
There's something about it. I couldn't put my finger on it.
That he was just too human.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yeah. I wish he didn't have a nose.
I think my critique is, okay, I would be fine with the no nose. I kind of don't really care about the nose that much though. His eyes need to be like way bigger to me. The eyes are too human. And then
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's the eyes.
And then the teeth are way too big. I don't know why his teeth need to be so big.
Maybe he shouldn't have teeth. He's an egg.
Well, he probably should have teeth.
Have shards of eggshell.
But I mean, all that being said, it's not like he's hard to look at.
No, but I kind of was hoping he looked more. He wasn't as fun to look at as I was hoping he would.
Yeah.
Knowing that there was a hump dump in this movie.
Humpty Dump.
Humpty Dump. And then
and they have so you can see right on Puss is like, "What are you doing here? I don't want to see you." Yada yada yada. And you're like, "Huh?
Yeah."
Do they have a pass?
Yeah, and then Humpty Dumpty's like, my plan's working to get. Well, no, he doesn't say that. That happens later. But he's like, Puss, we should team up. They got the magic beans. We can do the thing. And Puss is like, shove that in my boots, boy. No way.
Yeah.
And then he walks outside, and the other cat follows him, Kitty. And she's all saying, dude, what's your big deal? And he sits there and he goes, well, it's a very long story. And then she's like, no, I don't really need to hear it. Just maybe give me the sum up of it. And he's like, it was 15 years ago. And he starts this monologue, and it's like a 20-minute section of the movie.
I know, it was a lot longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
I kind of like it though.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was shorter.
Yeah.
I wish it was shorter, a little more
It
condensed.
just really like, I think it was so long just to solidify their strong relationship.
Yeah.
And then they needed to break it. So they did need a little bit of time to do that.
Yeah. But I think had they not done the bit where he's like, it's a long story, and then when it's over, she's like, oh, you're done finally. If they hadn't have done that, I think I really wouldn't have liked that. Yeah. But since they made it a joke, it works.
Okay, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not that the scene is bad or anything, but it's just like that device can be a little exhausting. I also really liked
all the animation for the sequence.
Yeah.
Like Puss comes to the orphanage, is sent to an orphanage because he's an orphan, and this woman takes him in. And
by the way, I never thought I would say Puss this much on mic.
Me neither, but we're doing it. So he's just a little kitten, and he's so cute. His eyes are very much bigger, and it's so cute. And since it's like an orphanage, like, I don't know, he's like the new kid, so no one likes him, and he's like being kicked out of his seat, and Humpty kind of stands up for him.
Yeah, but after stealing his beans.
Yeah, but he does stand up for him, and then later on Puss is like, goes and finds him because it's like, well, this one person showed me kindness.
Yeah,
let's see what he's up to. And you find that
Little Boy Blue is there, by the way, and he's just this blue boy.
Is that a character?
Yeah, that's the nursery rhyme, like Little Boy Blue.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
I'll look it up while you continue summing up, because I don't really know either. It was just like, oh, that's a thing. I know that's a thing.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was purely just made up. So he finds that Humpty is planting beans in this shed. And he just starts going on about how everyone thinks he's crazy, but like he really wants to find the magic beans to find that castle in the sky, to get the golden eggs.
Okay, Little Boy Blue.
I just realized why they chose Humpty Dumpty.
Why?
Golden eggs. And he's an egg.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
This movie got a little bit better for me.
So we got Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where is that boy who looks after the sheep? He's under a haystack fast asleep. Will you wake him? Oh, no, not I, for if I do, he'll surely cry. It has been argued that Little Boy Blue was intended to represent Cardinal Wolsey, who was the son of an Ipswich butcher who may have acted as a Hayward to his father's livestock, but there is no corroborative evidence to support this assertion. So it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
But yeah. So you got to, because I was looking that up the whole time. You're saying they're talking about what they want to do with the.
Well, yeah, like essentially they just start hanging out. They become buds.
Yeah.
And Humpty's the one who gives him the name Puss. And you see that Humpty Dumpty is really good at inventing things.
Yeah.
And like a little plane thing he invents.
Sorry, side note. It's not too bad in this movie since it's a kid's movie, but this is something I really wish that prequels would retire.
Yeah.
Is I don't care how someone got their name.
Yeah.
Unless it's something really significant, like unless it's a series that has an importance on people earning names or something like that.
What do you think about Solo?
I think that's the worst part of Solo is when he says, he comes up to the thing and he's like, what's your name? And he goes, I don't have one. It's just Han. And then he's like, Solo. It's like, no, that's so dumb. And then he does the same thing like 3 scenes later where he's like, your name's Chewbacca, huh? That's a little long. You're like, we had to explain how he gave Chewbacca a nickname? That's just normal.
Yeah.
Like, we can just assume, like, we can fill in those gaps. By the way, I really like Solo for the listener. But things like that, it's like, why are you, like, grinding this movie to a halt to explain a name? It's just a name.
Yeah.
And again, if it was something like if you're going to tell the story of Abraham or something and explain why he got what am I thinking? Jacob and how his name became Isaac, and you're doing a movie about that in the Bible, that's very significant because God changed his name. That's a good thing to do. But in something like this,
always bringing it back to the Bible.
well, it's something like this. It's just so annoying to me.
Yeah.
In this movie, since it's a kids movie, I'm not as anti it. But it's just one of those things. I don't know why writers think that we care about that.
Yeah.
His name could have just been Puss from the very beginning. You know,
yeah.
No one would have batted an eye and been like, I wish I'd have just known how he got that name.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have nothing to add.
Yeah. I'm
done.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. So then, funny enough, now we're going to describe how he gets his boots, which actually they serve kind of a significant purpose. So I'm not anti this at all.
You're jumping forward a tad too much.
Okay.
Because it's important
fill
to
in
show
those gaps, baby.
That Puss and Humpty become very good friends, and Puss wants to help him with these magic beans, and Humpty's like, I'm kind of a solo dude. Like, I figured these things out by myself. Yeah. And that's when Puss does his first on-camera pouty eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets Humpty to be like, okay. And then they become brothers. Blood brothers, actually.
Because
Humpty pricks his finger and his blood's yellow because of yolk. Because he's an egg. Yeah. So funny.
That's a great bit.
So they're brothers now, and in order to figure this all out, like, I don't know, they start doing some shady stuff like stealing in order to like try and find these beans. Mm-hmm. And then eventually Puss is like, I can't do this anymore. This is wrong.
Well, because what happens is Humpty is trying to like steal something, and it lets loose this bull.
That's right.
And this bull is running around town, and Puss is able to jump on the horn and steer it from missing the, what is it?
I said bull, not bull.
Yeah, the bull.
Your bull sounds weird.
Save the mother of the commandante. And when he does, there's also that great bit where they're like, he saved the mother of the commandante, and then it goes to someone else, and they're like, he saved the mother of the commandante, and then they go to the bull who was about to hit it, and he hit the commandante, and the bull goes, he saved the mother of the commandante.
Yeah, I like that bit.
It was very funny. It's so funny.
He's touted as the town hero.
Yeah, and they give him these boots, which apparently have the significance of they're like the town boots. They're like an honor, not the town's boots, but
didn't she just make them for him?
Yeah, I guess that's maybe more accurate. But it's an honor for him to have them. So you can see why if someone spills a little milk, he's going to get a little bit pussed.
Right. So then that's when he's like, okay, I'm going to be a straight shooter, a good guy. I want to help people now.
Yeah.
And Humpty's like, okay, I got a job for us. And it involves stealing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Puss is like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And it's pretty interesting. Like, I like Humpty's arc the whole time. I mean, especially since he's an orphan. And so is Puss. But, he has no one to belong to.
Yeah.
And this is like the only thing he wants out of life. And he's like, and you're not even going to help me? Like, no one else will help me. So you're just going to betray me like everyone else.
And it is funny too, because you get to do that joke where it's like he becomes a bad egg.
Yeah.
And then later he ends as a golden egg, literally.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Make sure you're not moving that around too much. You're making some boofs.
These are heavy mics, Mike.
They are heavy.
We are holding them.
Yeah. If you want to donate to us in person so we can get some mic stands.
Gladly accept.
Yeah.
So Humpty's like, okay, fine. And then what does he do? He tricks Puss into stealing all of this money with him.
Yeah.
And it ends with Puss running away from the town and becoming an outlaw, and Humpty being arrested.
Yes.
And put in prison for a long time.
And this is my biggest complaint of the movie.
Why?
Well, it ends on this bridge finale kind of thing, where they Puss jumps off of the bridge, and he's like an outlaw from the town now, and Humpty's not able to escape. It should have been a wall. Because Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. That he never falls off a wall in this movie. That's the whole Humpty Dumpty rhyme. It's always bridges with this guy. He's a wall boy.
I guess that's true.
I just wish
they did make that kind of a joke though when they were stealing money. He's like, "Help me get over this wall." And I think you and I were like, "Oh, they're doing it," and then they actually didn't do it.
Yeah, I just wish he would have fallen off a wall.
But
and
I mean, let's just say
caught.
This is funny. The reason why he got caught was because he fell on his back, and he's an egg. He can't roll up.
Yeah,
he couldn't get up.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. They do that like 3 times, and it's always funny.
It is.
Good complaint, though. I think that's valid.
Okay. Because it was like the whole movie. I was just waiting for that moment where all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And here we are. And even the end, he falls off a bridge again. Yeah. What's with bridges and this dump guy,
Yeah, I don't know.
Get on that wall, baby.
Okay.
Or if he'd have said a line, which would have been...
Well, remember they mentioned something about a wall.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. Like at one point, Humpty said something about a wall, like helping him up one time.
Uh-huh.
So they alluded to something.
Yeah. I wish even they could have done something where it's like, this is such a stupid... Well, I don't think it's a stupid gripe. Actually, I think this is the smartest thing I've ever said on this podcast. If he would have said something just like about a previous wall where he had some issues, and then maybe like, I don't do walls anymore, or maybe there was a part in the castle where they had to climb a wall and he's like, no, I don't trust walls. Something. Give us something for us dump heads, us Humpty Dump heads.
Gosh.
We need that dang wall.
Can we please move forward?
Yeah. So this is when we realize that the reason Puss wants just saying Puss so many times. We realize that the reason Puss wants to get like one big job is so that he can pay back the town. It's not for him, like that's his debt that he owes from them stealing the bank. Which again, good character arc for him. I like all this stuff. And they explain Boots in his name. And then so then he agrees to help Humpty Dumpty and Kitty because they're like one final score.
Kitty's working with Humpty.
Yes. And then when they do, they go track down Jack and Jill, and they do this great carriage chase scene where they have to rob
And this is
the
where it
beans.
gets kind of confusing.
Yes.
So Jack and Jill ran down the hill or up the hill, and their children. So in the classic tale, they're children. You assume they're brother and sister.
I always thought they were brother and sister.
And
I tried
in
looking
this
it up,
movie,
though.
they're adults, which doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But you listen to this conversation Jack and Jill have together, where Jack's like, he tells her, he's like, I'm ready to have kids, and you're like, oh, they're married.
Yeah, kind of weird.
They're not brother and sister, but they look exactly the same.
So here's the thing, because they never say they're married, and they never say they're brother and sister. Do you think they're hinting at I hate to say it, but like an incestuous relationship?
I don't think they would do that in a kids movie.
But they also are now, and not that I agree with this, but they are Deliverance style, South. They got the accent.
I know what you're saying.
Are they alluding to that maybe as a fun joke for parents? Because the Shrek series, as we know, always has some extra stuff as you get older. You're
Maybe they're just doing
Lord
it to
Farquaad.
mess with us.
Maybe they were. But in this carriage, it's run by warthogs that have blazing red eyes, which is very cool.
And they got a bunch of little piggies sleeping in the carriage.
Yeah, and once again, we just have fun all of the action sequences and shots are just cool. It's actually it's funny because in this sequence I was thinking if this was live action, people would consider this a well shot good action sequence.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I mean, I think you can consider it that as well, but it's a lot of times in animation you don't get that.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of fun
and impressive.
Very impressive.
So they steal the beans.
They steal the beans, and then they plant the beans out in the desert.
At a specific location.
And Mr. Dumps is so excited about it. They climb the beanstalk into the sky, and they see the castle. And when they go there, they're talking about these giants that live there, and I'm getting so excited about these giants. I can't wait to see them. And then they say, oh, they died years ago. Okay. But kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but then when they get up to the clouds, their voices are on helium.
That's true.
I think it was interesting that they did that because they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, it was just kind of a fun...
Yeah, but then once they get into the castle, it changes. Their voices change back because the air pressure is fine again.
Yeah, which they actually even say, because they're like, how come our voices are... They knew that there was going to be someone in the audience. It's like, hey, their voices are different. And then they're able to steal the golden deuce.
No, shut.
The golden deuce is
their
what I
whole
said.
point was to steal. They're like, even if I could just get one egg.
Yeah.
That's all I ask for. So they get there and you hear this monster and he's like, oh, that's the guardian of the goose. And he's like, it's said that if you look it in the eye, you'll die. But of course, no one's lived to know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
So you keep hearing it. They're sneaking through into this forest-looking area inside the castle, which is probably just because it was giants. It's probably not that big.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
But they find the goose, which just looks like a baby chicken, adorable, and just popping golden eggs out of its butt.
Yeah, pretty consistently
and you
too.
find that they found that the eggs were so heavy that they could barely lift it. And then they were like, let's just steal the goose. It's a gold producing goose. Why not just steal that?
Yeah.
Which I didn't think they'd do.
Yeah, I didn't think they would get away with it.
But it totally makes sense.
But they do get away with it.
They do. So they steal the goose. The giant guardian thing is trying to come after them. It spots them a couple times. The eye looks super cool. And you're like, I can't wait to see this creature.
Mm.
And then they make it back to the town. With the goose. Oh, no. They make it out of the castle and they make it back to Earth, to the surface with the goose.
Yeah.
And there's just golden eggs all over their little campground.
And they're just hanging out. They're
celebrating.
Having fun.
It's great. And
then there's this kind of like Humpty Dumpty. Well, Kitty and Puss are starting to connect.
They got some chemistry.
And then
they got some chemistry.
Humpty Dumpty's kind of like, go to bed. Over his shoulder, or He's trying to get her away. And you're like, so there's something else going on. Of course, the whole movie, you kind of have that feeling because Dumpty is not being his full.
Dumpty's not being Humpty.
Yeah, he's just being Dumpty right now. And he's up to no good. So they're kind of hinting more at that. And then Jack and Jill show up. They mug him, right?
Yep. Well, no, they show up and Puss wakes up alone. No one's there, not even the eggs.
Yeah.
So he thinks like Jack and Jill came and kidnapped everyone.
Yeah.
So he's trying to find them. Sorry, I keep burping. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then he makes his way back to the town, right? Before he meets up with them.
Yeah.
Why are you staring at me?
Wait, but I thought, can you keep going? I can't figure out where I'm at with my notes. Because Puss gets back.
Yeah.
And then he gets thrown into prison, right?
Yeah, because he's an outlaw in this town.
Yeah, but...
Oh, no. Yeah, so he goes back to the town and he's trying to find Humpty and Kitty, and he hears Jack and Jill with Humpty, and it sounds like they're about to kill him.
Oh, yeah,
and he sees a shadow of them about to hit Dumpty over, like, something to break him.
Yeah.
When he turns the corner and Humpty, they're opening a bottle of champagne.
Yes. Okay,
it's like,
yes,
we did it! We got the goose!
And then Humpty's like, couldn't you have seen? I was playing you this whole time.
Yeah.
And he goes, I just needed your help in capturing the thing. But truly
like,
what he wanted was revenge for Puss leaving him. So the whole town is like, thanks, Humpty, you're making us rich. And then he's putting all the blame of the previous thing onto Puss.
Also, he's still an outlaw.
Yeah, getting Puss arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does it, there is, again, a very funny bit where in the previous scene, there had been all these crows or ravens that had been around Puss, and they'd been kind of like peckering him. So then Humpty, there's a flashback, and it shows Humpty like helping Puss get out at the beginning of the movie. And then it shows him in the bar that Puss is at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then it shows him at all these places, like in the background. And then finally it shows him, and he's looking directly into the camera, feeding the crows so that they'll be there when
funny.
Puss wakes up. So funny.
Yeah.
That's I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And so then Puss is in jail. I wrote this, which I think is funny, because we got Puss in Boots, then Puss in jail, Puss out jail.
Puss out jail, like he gets out of jail.
Well, Puss in Boots, Puss in jail. That's not funny, and I know that now. And he meets while he's there. So I didn't make this connection. The whole movie, we have Jack and Jill, and I did make the connection, but not yet. We had Jack and Jill, and Jack has these beans the whole movie.
So you're like, oh, they're merging two stories.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of like, oh, are they inferring, which is kind of cool, that Jack is not only from Jack and Jill, but he grows up to become Jack the Giant
Jack
Slayer.
and the Beanstalk.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's the Nicholas Holt movie that was terrible.
Yeah, but he slays a giant. That's
it's not called Jack the Giant Slayer.
Right,
which
right,
is what
right.
the movie was called.
Sorry. But which is actually kind of cool. It's almost like there's something there maybe beyond just the fun of it, because it's almost like the characters, which is actually okay. So throughout the whole series, the characters have been, in a lot of ways, the fairy tales, they're like bound by their like predestined lives.
Yeah.
So take Pinocchio, for example. He can never become a real boy. Keeps trying, all these things, and then every once in a while they're able to twist and turn on their heads. So if you take Jack, he's like the perfect exemplification of that, because he lives in the Jack and Jill fairy tale, but he wants to become the Jack from Jack and a Beanstalk. He wants
Jack and a Beanstalk. That's what it sounds like you said.
He wants to like overcome his fairy tale and join another one, but he's not able to. Kind of interesting.
Well, it was never his plan anyway.
Yeah.
Because he was working for Humpty.
Yeah, but he still, I feel like they would have done it either way. Maybe the theory doesn't work, but I mean, I
understand what you're saying.
A lot of the Shrek series has been like, this is what you know, and then it flips on its head. But even then, it's usually only for made-up characters, and the fairy tale characters are still stuck within their own...
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Their own demise of what is classically known of them.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Interesting take.
It also was
You're gonna write
just
an essay on that?
well, it was just coming into my head as I was saying it, so maybe it doesn't hold up under scrutiny. But let us know in the comment section of our Apple iTunes. Then we do meet the actual Jack, who's been put in prison, and he's gone crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kitty breaks Puss out of jail. And then I guess the thing that I kind of don't dig is that Humpty just switches to helping Puss really fast, like within a sentence.
Well, hold on. There is reason for it. You're Mr. Jumper today.
I'm jumping, baby. Well, it's because I got to go to work and I got to jump.
Okay, so Puss gets out and he's like, I'm going to go find Humpty and figure this all out. Maybe even get my revenge. I don't think he really ever had revenge in his heart. But
Puss?
Yeah,
he did.
But pretty early on, like you find out that the guardian of the goose has found the town and he's going to destroy. He's to get the goose and probably destroy the town, which is also a part of that folklore. You know, people are even like, "Oh, those beans don't exist," and then it's like, "Oh, that thing doesn't exist either. There's nothing coming to get this goose.
Yeah,
we're fine." This giant goose comes to get the goose. It's Mama Goose.
Which is part of Dump's plan. Because he wants to get the town destroyed. Because he still hates the town. He's getting like ultimate revenge.
Guess that's true. But like that's kind of like one of those things though, where as soon as the goose shows up, the giant goose, Humpty's like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I've gone too far many times before, but I've really screwed things up this time.
Yeah.
And that's when Puss finds him. I can't do it. That's when he finds him. And he's, I mean, it's just in a sense of Puss having compassion. Stop. He's having compassion on his friend. I'm still just
laughing at how many times we've had to say Puss in this episode.
Stop. So,
funny name.
I think it's a good writing. I don't think it's bad writing. It's because Puss has, like, he believes in him. It's his brother. He's like, you are a good person. But you have chosen to be a bad person.
Yeah.
You know? And Humpty's like, I think it's too late for me. Like, I'm too far gone.
And he's like, but you can be a good egg.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like it. I think it's fine. I mean, it is pretty fast compared to like his long transition into becoming a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well,
it's also a kid's movie.
Yeah, exactly. And earlier in the movie, Humpty had worn this like golden outfit so that he could pretend to be an egg if he needed to.
To like more to disguise himself from the giant guardian.
Yeah. And then as the movie's coming to a close, you know, big last battle, they're getting the goose out of there and trying to give him back his it's
Mama Goose.
The Mama Goose, her child.
Yeah.
Goose, the golden goose.
Which is, so here's something. What's weird is when they were in the castle and the like 2 times that they like the giant goose saw them, you saw like its eye and it looked very reptilian almost. Yeah. And then this giant goose comes to their town and you're like, that looks nothing like what we saw in the castle, which makes me think like maybe there's a bigger goose coming. And then it never comes. And I'm just like, why did they choose to make it look different in those scenes? So then you think, oh, that's when it was enraged. It looks like that. But you're like, it was enraged when it came to the town.
Yeah.
That was just a really odd choice.
Yeah, I think they should have kind of done a big old zoom in on the eye just to get you going. That'd have fixed it.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really see that issue so much. I just kind of let it be. Okay. But no, I'm glad that you brought it up. I'm glad you brought it up. Maybe someone else will be like,
he had continued talking about this folklore fairy tale thing.
So then they're at the bridge again. They've lured the goose. They give her back the goose. They give the goose back, and then Humpty, you know, he falls off and he looks
The bridge
dead.
Is broken, and Puss is holding
Should have been a wall.
Puss is holding on to Humpty in one hand, and then the other hand he's holding the goose by ropes.
Yeah.
And he isn't strong enough. I mean, think about it. He's a cat.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that he was even holding on to them.
Yeah, but eggs are pretty light, so.
He's a big egg, though.
Yeah, he is. But
he's trying to lift them both back to safety. And he. By the way, for people who were like, "That shouldn't that baby goose just fly away?" It's a baby goose. It can't fly.
Yeah, they haven't shown that it could fly in the whole movie. Okay, so maybe back off.
So he's trying to lift them both up, and he can't do it. He's not strong enough. And Humpty's like, "Let go of me, like save the goose, save the town." And he's like, "I'm not letting go of you, brother." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I know you won't." So then he lets go. Yeah,
which is always cool.
Yeah.
And then it looks like he's dead, and he's like, wearing his golden outfit.
Yeah, because you see a golden egg, and it looks like there's egg shell around it, which there might have been. Maybe he molted. But the mama goose gets baby goose back, and then mama goose goes down and gets Humpty, the big golden egg. And you're like, oh, he gets. I mean, that's when I realized too, like, oh yeah, he's gonna be with a bunch of other eggs. I mean, those eggs aren't alive, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm fine with it.
And then his debt is repaid.
Yep.
And the town loves him again. And then he's like, Kitty kind of, she's been stealing stuff from him the whole movie in like a fun way, and then he gets it back. And they kind of like chase off the screen, and it's like, maybe there's something here, but I'll see you around, Puss, kind of thing. And then he gets on a horse, and he's riding away, and the horse bucks up, or not bucks, it rears.
Yeah.
And he stands on its head, and it's like the silhouette of the movie.
It's so Western.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then it ends, and in the credits you find out that Dumpty didn't actually die.
Yeah, he's
the
fine.
goose flies away.
So you notice that the entire time we talk about this movie, we have maybe mentioned the lady who runs the orphanage maybe once, but maybe not at all.
Yeah.
They gave way too much importance to that person, to that character.
I don't think so.
Oh, totally. I mean, we haven't talked about her, but in the movie, she's in it like quite a bit.
I liked how much she was in it.
Really?
Because it provided Puss's motivation of wanting to repay the debt to the town. Otherwise, he would just leave the town behind.
He did it all for her. But I feel like she wasn't really in it enough for it to feel like that made sense.
I disagree with that one.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
So that's Puss in Boots.
Yep. And that is the Shrekening.
Well, but there's more. June 2014, the movie titled Puss in Boots 2, 9 Lives and 40 Thieves, going to release November 2nd, 2018. Obviously, that didn't happen.
That sounds like an awesome title.
Great title for a movie. 2015, Puss was removed from schedule. DreamWorks adopts 2 film releases a year rule. So then they're like, we're only going to release 2 a year. February 2019. So this year.
Why do they do that? Why do they even need to say that?
Probably because they wanted to explain why they're not coming out with a movie and doing less. Which is probably a good idea. Like if they're just doing 2 a year, maybe they can up their quality, you know?
Yeah.
So then this is really exciting to me because I'll tell you this. I really like Puss in Boots, and I would love to see a sequel. I think he's a fun character, and it'd be fun to see him do more things. There is an animated series on Netflix, The Adventures of Puss in Boots, and there's 78 episodes.
Whoa!
So, and I gotta say, I kind of want to check it out. But then we have February 2019, Bob Persichetti signed on to direct a sequel. And do you know who Bob Persichetti is?
No.
He's the director of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh. Wait, how many directors are there of that movie?
I think there are 2, maybe 3, but I will look it up right now. So if he's directing the movie, do you want me to pay you now or later, DreamWorks? Because that's cool. Because he directed a perfect movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So it has 3 directors. It's funny how a lot of animated movies have like 2, 3, or 4 directors. It seems like it's got to be like the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how do we feel about the series as a whole? The Shrekening.
I like it.
I like it too.
I'm an advocate for it.
I know we talked about last week how they're planning a Shrek 5. I think Shrek should be done.
Yeah.
I don't want another Shrek, but I think there's ripe material for more Puss.
Yeah.
I'd love to get in the strap on the boots again. And oh man, don't do the lawnmower right now. We're almost done.
Let's wrap it up.
I would love some more Puss. As a whole, I think it's a pretty solid like 6 out of 10 average out. Pretty fun. It's no Mad Max. It's no Marvel. Least of the series
No
we've
Pixar
covered.
either.
No Pixar. But I'm sure we're going to cover series we like less. So far, we haven't covered a series that we really dislike.
No.
So let's rank them. The Shrek movies. At the bottom, Shrek the Third. Number 4, we got Shrek 2, which I like. Number 3, Puss in Boots. Number 2, Shrek. Number 1, Shrek Forever After. That's my Shrek ranking.
I think mine would be the same. I don't know. I can't tell if I like Shrek 2 better than Shrek 1.
Yeah.
But I might like it better.
So you'd maybe flip and make Shrek 2 number 2?
Yeah.
And...
But that just might be on the day. Depend on the day.
Yeah. Or wait, but I had Shrek 2 as number 4. So you'd put it much higher. I had Puss in Boots above Shrek 2.
I like Shrek 2 better than Puss.
Okay.
Much funnier.
I think Shrek 2 is actually a better movie, but I would rather rewatch Puss in Boots because the animation's just so much cooler.
It is.
And I think actually the stories, maybe it is better because that story, once you're done, us like re-talking about it, like all the threads that they close is actually kind of a complicated, fun story.
Mm-hmm.
So the Shrekening is over. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we start back in on phase 3 of Marvel. And by the time, it's going to take us about 3 months to get through because there are 11 Marvels. So next week, it's Captain America Civil War. Please join us. And then by the time we finish phase 3, we will be caught up on Marvel and we'll be able to cover the next movies as they come out of the phase 4. Pretty cool. I'm excited to be caught up and be able to like worry about other series. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. Next week's going to be interesting. You might like the takes that we bring to Civil War. Stick around. Thank you.
Thank you. Rate, review, and subscribe.